on Curiosity Stream. He allows them their riches.
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
In exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimate.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the oligarchs. And World War II Normandy. An obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today, you know what, man? Today we toast Pabst Blue Ribbon. Now, sure, they won its Blue Ribbon in 1893, but even 129 years later, they're still bragging about it. Now, that said, in spite of that, Pabst is still rolling with the times, folks. They know what's going on. Unlike many products, Pabst has its own Twitter account. Now, unfortunately, that very Twitter account, that's what got them into trouble. The trouble started yesterday, in fact, when Pabst, they referenced Dry January. And Dry January, in case you inexplicably don't know what that is, it's a health initiative in the first month of each year when people abstain from drinking alcohol, right? The holidays have passed, you just want to take it easy. Well, Pabst made its opinion clear when the beer posted this tweet on their official Twitter account. It says, quote, "Not drinking this January, try eating ass." The tweet has since been deleted. Pabst has apologized profusely, saying exercise.
Very strong opinions about that.
Poor judgment. Yeah, they posted that just yesterday. I thought it was funny. Miles, you thought it was funny.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
A lot of people, apparently, they felt different.
I don't think if you're a Pabst Blue Ribbon drinker, that's offensive to you.
Right. I get the feeling people that drink Pabst,
buy and drink Pabst Blue Ribbon, not offensive.
Right.
Everybody else, there's a reason you don't drink that beer. If that offends you.
But hey, it's just a suggestion.
Sure.
Just a suggestion. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichona.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
Oh, it sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Nikki. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola. All right, Nikki, you understand how this here game is played?
Heck yeah.
Fantastic. You know then you have your choice of one of three stories. We have The Wonderful World of Drugs, we have Bite Me, and we have Interior Decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
Let's do dress.
All right, first story of 2022. A Profile This. It is, in fact, drugs. We go to the fine state of Ohio, where police were dispatched to a gas station regarding a woman that was passed out behind the wheel of her silver Nissan. The caller said the woman woke up and had just left the parking lot. An officer spotted the car as it entered I-77 southbound without using a turn signal. Now, while talking to the woman, the officer observed the faint smell of alcohol. Now, she denied drinking and told the officer she just dropped off her grandchild. Keep in mind, the driver was slurring her words and acting confused. And then, after failing a field sobriety test, during which she lost her balance multiple times, the woman was arrested for drunk driving. But during a search of her Nissan, police found an open bottle of vodka as well as drugs. The grandmother, she was charged with drug abuse, possession of drug paraphernalia, And, of course, the most important thing, not using her turn signal. Oh, and also having an open container. Now, the question is, what did Meemaw have stashed inside of her silver Nissan? Was it methamphetamine, cocaine, crack, or heroin?
What? Can I hear what Ted thinks?
Where'd you say it was again?
Ohio. Ooh. I know, Ohio, it could be all of the above.
See, I'm thinking heroin just because she was teaching. If she was on crack, she'd be wide awake.
You know what? That's a good
Not a bad
call.
theory, Nikki.
Right? Maybe she's just so messed up. All right, screw it. I'm going with her.
Okay, we all on the heroin train because I'm going to join you.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Getting
We're going to
hot.
find out what she was on. Was it meth, cocaine, crack, or heroin next?
That was a T.
New on Curiosity Stream.
From time to time, we have collisions between asteroids and the Earth.
We track them, we study them, we hope the big one never comes. Don't look up, it's Asteroid Rush. And alligators. They rarely get sick, they even outlasted the dinosaurs. Could they hold the secret to human longevity?
Their blood could have antibacterial applications.
Wade into the investigation on immortal alligators. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
99.9 KISW.
Category is drugs on profile list. We got an Ohio woman, happens to be a Meemaw, passed out her car at a gas station. Not use her signal. Told police she had just dropped off her grandkid.
Man.
Granny was definitely drunk. She had an open bottle of vodka in the car. And she had drugs on her. Question is, what drug did she have? Was it meth, cocaine, crack, or heroin?
And someone here says, Ohio, no need to tell the story, it's meth. But Nikki, D. Ted Smith, Miles Montgomery, you agree? You went with heroin? Because Mickey, you came up with actually a pretty solid reason behind that. However, it was not heroin. Oh, no. Meemaw was on the cocaine, baby.
Get out of here.
Oh, wow.
Meemaw was flying high tonight.
Grandma.
I don't know why, but something about grandma and cocaine just like, really?
Are you making sugar cookies? What's going on in there?
Oh.
Now for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices today, Seth Meyers,
Seth Meyers.
the Jimmies,
Okay. Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel.
Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
That's right, during the time, all these guys have teams of talented writers help them pull up their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late-night joke and from whom? Or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
The CDC announced recently it shortened the amount of time people have to quarantine after testing positive for coronavirus from 10 days to 5 days. Then they added, today is basically over, so it's really just 4 days. Plus, Sundays don't count, so just 3 days. You know what? Just take the weekend. You'll be fine.
Fallon.
Kimmel or Kimmel?
Myers.
The CDC announced recently that it has shortened the recommended time that people quarantine after testing positive for the coronavirus from 10 days to 5 days. They added that today is basically over, so it's really 4 days. Plus Sundays don't count, so 3 days. You know, take the weekend. Just take the weekend. You'll be fine.
The CDC recently issued a warning to avoid cruise ships, no matter what your vaccination status is. I'm sorry, that was news from 2018.
Seth Meyers?
Yeah, Myers.
Fallon.
So it is a new year, but the tech problems do continue. Our hotkeys, unfortunately, just shut down for the half second that they do, Ted. So give me about 30 seconds here, and I'll be able to play that clip.
Why don't you try it again?
The CDC recently issued a warning to avoid cruise ships, no matter what your vaccination status. I'm sorry, that news was from 2018.
Now, speaking of COVID, the CDC recently issued a warning to avoid cruise ships regardless of vaccination status. I'm sorry, that was news from 2018.
Former NFL Pro Bowler and problem in the locker room, Terrell Owens, says Tampa Bay Buccaneers should hire him to take Antonio Brown's roster spot after Brown had a meltdown over the weekend during a game. I guess no one told him two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah.
Oh, he might just laugh at the setup.
Did he seriously say that?
He came out and was like, look, they've only got like the playoffs, basically like 4 games left. Like he's like, I can't play 16, but I can do his job for 4 games. Which, in T.O.'s defense,
I don't argue that.
I don't know that he's wrong.
I don't argue that, but it's like saying we secretly replaced vanilla ice cream with vanilla ice cream.
He did run a 4.3 like 6 months ago.
Sure.
And Terrell Owens is one of those guys too, where like, but also like in the last few years, like a lot of his ex teammates have come out and been like, no, we really liked him and like everything. So I don't know. Antonio Brown's just taking the wide receiver thing to such a higher level. Yeah.
My son asked me this morning, right before I dropped him off at school. It's a true story. Dad, I go, what, man? He goes, did you ever find out why that one receiver stormed off the field? And I said, look, it sounds mean coming from me. I've always maintained because he's an effing idiot. But I don't know. I'm sure there's more to the story. The kid looks at me and goes, might be because they were losing to the Jets. Damn. Ooh. Sam.
I'm wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
Papa John's recently added a New York-style pizza to its menu that features 8 large slices that customers can fold to eat. But hey, unless you could drunkenly pay for it with a Ziploc bag full of nickels and then fall asleep eating it on the subway, it's not New York-style pizza.
That's that?
Papa John's recently added a New York-style pizza to its menu that features 8 large slices that customers can fold to eat. But hey, unless you can drunkenly pay for it with a Ziploc bag full of nickels and then fall asleep eating it on the subway, it's not New York style.
South Korea said an unidentified person crossed the border. South Korea said that an unidentified person crossed the border into North Korea. That's like running out of Disneyland and into North Korea.
I'll say Seth Meyers.
That's valid.
South Korea said that an unidentified person crossed the border into North Korea. Really? It's like running out of Disneyland and into North Korea.
I think even North Korean guards had to be like, what is happening?
You're coming this way?
Are we being invaded? Is this the beginning of it? What are you doing? Well, you want to be here.
I wonder if they care.
With the guards?
Well, if you're going into there. You know what I mean? Just like generally, they don't want you leaving a country like that. Right. But like if you're North Korea, like, oh no, we need an extra. Mm-hmm. Like join, you know what I mean? Like I feel like if you left North Korea, they'd probably fire a weapon at you.
Fire, right? Because he wasn't shot dead. I mean, it's kind of like when the Berlin Wall was up. You never heard someone from West Germany climb the wall to get into East Germany.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I heard that. I'm like,
they're going to give information. The information is the key. That's all they care about. Like, if he goes back and goes like, yeah, man, everybody in South Korea has a cell phone. Like, that's it. You're gone.
Yeah, that's true. You can't say much.
You know what I mean? You can't let anybody know what's going on.
But they would
There's
want
internet in the hotels.
But I'm saying they would want the information from. I just don't know that North Korea would have a problem with
if you had
breaking it or defecting to their. It's not like when we had the Cold War. Like Daryl was just saying. Like, yeah, I'm sure the Russians would have had us.
Yeah, I mean, they would have, but no one's trying to go there because it's intellectually bankrupt and it's a piece of ass, right? But same thing there. I mean, like I said, this guy does not have state secrets, but also the things that the North Korean government really does not want the general population to know. It's just the amount of freedom they have. And even freedom, it comes at a price, but just your wealth of TV shows. Different opinions.
They don't want
you would not want him talking to the average, right? Not like state, but just talking to the average person, like, oh yeah, man, I got a cell phone. You can watch anything you want. Like, I left because I don't like it, but maybe I just don't like all these opportunities that are afforded. Like it, no matter what, yeah.
All right, well, we're gone for a while, so let's just get into it. It's the holidays. Betty White died.
She did.
That's a pretty big one for the TV world and entertainment world. Betty White, to me, Betty White best known from Golden Girls.
Mm-hmm.
But she had done countless other things. She was in movies and everything. And then, do you know what the other crazy thing is? First of all, she was only, 2 weeks away from her 100th birthday?
Yeah, well,
3 weeks
we said that
away.
before we left. Why are you bringing this up now? It's like January 17th, Betty White, big celebration, television, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, ooh. That's like,
yeah, 99.
He's made 14 in a row from 50 yards.
Like,
golly, no.
The worst part, I woke up, my wife told me, hey, man, Betty White died. And I'm like, well, but they're not sure of the cause. I said, she's 99 is the cause. I said, but the irony of this, literally 3 days before she died, I saw a blip of an interview that she was doing. And she had said, one of the things at 99 years old, the thing I'm most thankful for, she's like, I've had my career, I have my friends, I have my loved ones. The thing I'm most thankful for has been my health. 72 hours later.
Well, that's the thing, too. With Betty White, as long as I've known Betty White, she looks like Betty White.
She always looked like Betty White.
Right, so I think that's why I was I forgot she was 99.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, that's why I guess it kind of call people off guard. Usually when somebody's 99, I think about, who was the old comedian? George Burns or somebody with, a cigar. You know what I mean? You think of an old, really, she never seemed that old looking. Now, granted, I only seen her on TV with makeup and everything on.
But still, at 99, I don't care how much goddamn makeup you put on anyone at 99, they look like a cadaver, maybe, but she has looked okay, right?
Right, my grandma, Smith, right, we talk about her, reverence to this day, but, she looked like Betty White, and, she was only 75.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Bob Barker, Dick Van Dyke.
But Dick Van Dyke looks his age.
William Shatner. I'm trying to think, who are some of the more famous people
91 now?
We're kind of getting up there.
Yeah. The other sad one was obviously John Madden.
Right.
John Madden, of course, too. That was kind of crazy. They had that whole special for him on Fox, literally Christmas night.
That is correct.
Watch this. It's going to be a great thing. And then same thing. 3 days later, he passes away.
My kid, when they were advertising on Fox for the Madden thing, and I'm like, oh, man, it looks pretty cool. And so they show a couple clips of John Madden back in the day and all this. Kid's like, he's a person? I said, dude, he was a player. Then he was a coach. Then he was on TV. I know you know him as, you don't even know he's a human being. You just thought it was a name attached to the football game that you play all the time. But I'm like, hey, it's the same guy.
It is.
But really, it blew his mind that this was an actual human being.
I think I read that his estate, he was worth $200 million. And $153 million of that was from EA Sports.
I was going to say, right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's the thing, too, right? And everybody talks about it, right? Like I obviously didn't know him as a coach, right? To me, he was always a commentator. So you got used to him. I didn't realize that for commentating, how we know it now, how much of that he started. Interviewing the players and coaches the week, before you,
so
before
that
the game.
he could give info
about what was coming up or using the telestrator.
I didn't realize that either because you grew up with it. And you're right. So before he got into broadcasting, essentially watching a football game, still enjoy the sport, but the way they called it was like watching the national news. It's just this is just information about what's happening. So the telestrator was a big thing. I didn't realize this. He's the guy. So when you watch NFL football now, I believe college football as well, but the yellow line to mark where the first down is.
Yeah.
That was him.
Mm-hmm. Also,
said, look, I tell people how many yards they have to go, but he goes, for your viewing experience.
He would draw it on that.
And he just said, look, if you can superimpose the line, we can say it's 3rd and 3. That's one. We understand what that is. But when you can physically see it on TV, it's easier to get an idea of why they called the play they call, or why you're so mad about the play they call, whatever it might be. So all these little things, and you're right, man, the interviewing of all these people, and he was one of the first guys to go to, all the training camps. break down the coaches, and that is almost standard stuff now.
Well, when he was a coach, he was the big implementer of the coach's dinner. So, like, you know, I know the crew gets together, the officials and umpires get together, the crew, and they have dinner. Well, if you were going to a different town, like if you're coming into Seattle, Pete Carroll and his crew take your coaching staff down to the Met, and you guys, because it's a small world.
Sure.
You know all these people. Like, you're all peers. You probably played football against each other.
Yeah, half these guys, right.
You've coached together. Like, you know, like, it's like.
You're at the same seminars.
Hey, you come to our town, man. We're going to hook you up. We're going to go get Kansas City barbecue if we're in Kansas City, whatever the local flair was. And the broadcasters who were calling the game would join the coaches as well, because basically it's all just one traveling party of people that all work for the NFL.
They also say, and it's funny, he goes, he was the first guy in broadcast to give love to the big no-name guys. Like, we all know their names now, right? So, man, if you played anywhere on the line, no one talked about you. And John Madden came in and just, I love that big sloppy son of a bitch. And so they're talking to Brian Baldinger. Brian Baldinger says, I played a game, whatever. And he goes, when I get back to my apartment or house or whatever, my phone is blowing up. I don't understand why, because he played line. And it's like, everyone who called me was telling me, John Madden talked about you today. And it said, I was brought a tear to my eye because no one talked about linemen.
Well, right. I mean, look, again, I'm in, I started high school, 95, 96? Like, it was like a badge of honor to play offensive line.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then you had to know all the plays. I didn't play it too much. But, like, defensive line, I don't know how to explain. And, like, but Madden was what made offensive line, like, cool.
And he did things, he would call up the things that were obvious. He would circle a guy's butt sweat. He would circle their gut. Right, so after a play, they get up and the shirt's ridden up and his belly's hanging out. It's 320 pounds. And he was just, see that right there? That's why you can't get to. And I'm like, he made it okay. Mm-hmm. Like, you want a big dude. And it's like, everyone's right. You just take it for granted now because you're used to it. But almost every broadcaster now says, as far as football goes, they just say the way we call the game is based primarily on how he did it because he was the first guy that made broadcasting entertaining.
Well, and that was the other thing I would remind people, too, right? Like, if you're in your 20s or something, like, you're used to how everybody sees football now. Mm-hmm. But you know what I mean? But, like, SportsCenter was on, but SportsCenter was much more of a rounded show that showed highlights from every sport.
Right.
Now, in the football season, they were obviously football heavy.
Sure.
But there was no NFL network.
No.
Football was basically on, 2 networks, and then Monday Night Football on ABC. So it was like, you watched Fox. That NFC always traditionally has the bigger games.
Sure.
Like, right, that was the voice of football. And then he went over to ABC and started doing that. So it's like, it was a highlight. And like you're saying, it was a massive deal if John Madden talked about a player you liked or your team or this or that. Mm-hmm. Also, I just hear, the other great thing is like, Howard Cosell, obviously, Cosell. Howard was a lot of things, right? Great broadcaster, did a lot of great things. But not really, people have Howard stories. They don't look back at him and being like, hell of a dude. Like, you wanted to hang out with him.
Nobody says that.
Whereas Madden is the opposite. I mean, down to equipment managers on teams are like, when he came by, he was nice to everybody. He talked to everybody. And, like, he wasn't BSing.
No.
It's easy to glad hand somebody and be like, hey, good to see you, whatever. But it's different when you could sit there and they get an interaction and go, oh, he actually is asking me because he cares.
Not only that, but he'd stop into every restaurant he loved every time he took a bus anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
He knew where he was going. Like, okay, what time can we make it to, Columbus, Ohio? Because I want to get to this place, And
well, I know a lot of people were joking about that. Like, once they had to start coming to Seattle, they were getting good. He's like, all right, I'm out.
Oh,
Jesus. Let's see. Tonight for you. There's a couple shows on. Mike and I were talking about this. Judge Steve Harvey.
Yeah! Judge Steve Harvey.
8 p.m. ABC. If you like This Is Us and you want to do some post-holiday crying, 60s premiere over on NBC.
It's almost over.
Thank God.
It is almost over. The final season 8 season premiere of Blackish. That's on ABC after Judge Steve Harvey's done.
Yeah. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
New on Curiosity Stream, he allows them their riches
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
in exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimate.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the oligarchs. And World War II Normandy. An obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process. except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Mom pours her a kid a bowl of cereal and realizes, whoa, there is a bag of meth inside. In Kentucky, Santa was busted for DUI. An elf was arrested for assault, and the children cried. Town in Peru gets a new statue of man with a huge penis between his legs. In Cyprus, thieves topple a huge penis statue, but leave its eggs. And a Long John Silver employee who was pregnant kicked in the stomach over a hush puppy. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
All right, top story. We go to Indiana, where a woman reacted poorly to hearing that she wouldn't be getting what she wanted. The woman went through a Long John Silver's drive-thru and wanted to order a single hush puppy, just one. No. Given that they only serve hush puppies in orders of two, she was told that she would not receive only one. The woman became irate upon hearing this news and decided to storm the restaurant, throwing things, and eventually kicked a pregnant employee in the stomach.
Jesus.
Though it is unknown whether she could tell that the employee was pregnant.
Either way, it doesn't make it good to kick someone in the stomach. That just makes it worse. I would say, look, we can sell you a hush puppy, but at the cost of two.
Right.
I mean, those are the options we've got, right?
Right. I want one. Okay, here you go.
There's your hush puppy.
You're going to still pay for
a hush puppy.
But I'll give you one. Right. And
from Long John Silver's, a hush puppy.
And why are you so upset over getting two? They're just fine. Eat two of them. If you can, save it for later for all I care.
It's a new year. I'm trying to lose weight.
Right. Goodness gracious. In other news, over in the UK, a woman found that her kid's cereal had a little too much sugar in it. While pouring out the cereal for her 4 children, the woman was having difficulty getting it out of the box. She reached in and found the obstruction, a large bag filled with crystal methamphetamine. She took it to the authorities that confirmed that it was indeed about 450 grams of meth.
Surprise inside.
An investigation is underway.
Surprise!
Surprise! That'll never happen to me. I mean, I don't want meth. But, like, people find drugs washed up on the beach. You find drugs, and, like, I don't. I opened my Cinnamon Toast Crunch last night. I got Cinnamon Toast Crunch just fine. But if they're extra drugs, I'd be like, this is awesome.
Like, could you walk down the grocery shelves and just start sniffing the boxes like, is there weed in here?
You can until they ask you to leave.
There's a guy.
I don't know that it's illegal, but I don't think they would allow you in the store.
He comes in and sniffs the corn pops. What would be the cereal that you would hide drugs in?
Now, what is my end goal? Is it just to avoid authorities?
Exactly.
Is it the irony of the name
Grape
of the cereal?
nuts or shredded wheat?
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Is that what is the cereal that nobody's going to accidentally grab off this shelf?
Oh, I thought you meant the irony of the name,
grape
like
nuts.
Sugar Smacks.
Right.
Tricks. Exactly. Whoa!
Cornflakes for me. I have no idea why anybody eats cornflakes.
But people still buy them.
They're still a staple, yeah.
No one actually buys grape nuts. I refuse to believe, even if you have them at home, I'm convinced the store gave them to you free.
Cornflakes, though, you can eat, and there's still, like, some flavor, like grape nuts or, honestly, even just Wheaties.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are the puffed...
puffed corn things?
Yeah, puffed corn.
Corn pops, man. I love those.
What?
Oh, they're great.
Oh,
you know
my
what?
God.
I just put it in that box of not frosted, but just regular mini wheats.
Yeah.
Shredded wheat.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Staying in the UK, commuters were delighted to see some harmless vandalization of a local sign. At a railway station, people couldn't help but notice something that had been stuck under the local station sign, a phallic sex toy that had been suction cupped over one of the O's on the sign. Mm-hmm. Folks had a laugh and took pictures as one of the maintenance workers took the toy down.
I mean, I would just leave it there.
Right.
People are happy. They're taking pictures. No one was complaining.
It's vandalism we can all enjoy.
Is that vandalism, technically?
Well, yeah, you're defacing something at that point. Now, granted, it's easy to clean up.
Okay.
But
all right.
It's still...
In my mind, and I'm sure I'm wrong about this, like to deface something, you've done permanent damage. You know, I spray paint something.
What constitutes vandalism?
I mean, it probably falls into there, but it's
because if I pull a beard hair out and put it on top of that, is that vandalism? It's no different, really.
I guess technically it would be. I don't think the cops would throw you to the ground and pepper spray for it, but I guess it is. It's a suction cup penis, guys.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, man. But that's not the only penis-like object in the UK. Another was recently toppled by vandals. Proud to unveil their newly erected giant potato. A local town received chortles from locals and tourists as the new landmark looked a little too much like a penis standing at attention for all to see. It was the topic of ridicule for a short amount of time before vandals came and cut the spud off of its stand, costing thousands in damages. Hey-oh. One more, but not nearly as subtle. We go to Peru, where they rang in the new year with a brand new attraction of their own. This is great. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It is a massive statue of an indigenous Peruvian with a member as long as his body saluting all they come to see.
It is amazing.
All right. It is massive.
I guarantee every dude in Peru is like, yeah, leave it.
That's right.
Leave that there.
Leave this guy alone,
That's
man.
cool.
We're going to hang the flag on it when the soccer shows up. It's been met with its share of praise and criticism. Oh, goodness. Can you imagine that, though?
I always think it's got to be the weird. A buddy of mine ruined this for me. So in Baltimore, there's an area called Mount Vernon, and it's a tribute to George Washington. And surrounding this, and it's a beautiful part of this, one of the few beautiful parts of the city. But there are these incredible sculptures of horses. And he's like, think about the moment he had to sculpt the testicles.
Oh, no, there's the headlines with that Mike Hawkins out.
We'll see up next with the first men's room happy hour of the year, the return of the effing news and props on the way next.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch for about 134 seconds because you're so exact about stuff. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
Has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.